So my first question is, when I well, when I was reading about you, you're an attorney and a CPA.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Wow. And then you
A rare
went to
breed,
West
a
Point,
glutton for punishment.
and you went to West Point, and
Yeah,
so you served in the army. So
I
you've been
did.
very, and you're only 32. You've
33.
33. Okay.
Yes.
You've been
Yeah.
very active at a young age. That's great. And if you are elected, you'll be the youngest. Did I read that correctly?
Yeah, I think that's still accurate. I know that the UK paper covered that last summer. I think that's still accurate. I'd be the youngest Republican in Congress if elected. So I
Wow.
pride myself in youth. I probably will have the most kids, but I'll take the youngest.
So, oh,
33 with 4 kids. It's an accolade
that's
in and of itself.
yeah, 4 kids. That's a lot. I love children, but that's today they cost a lot. So
I know. Yeah.
uh, yeah,
They always have.
that's true. They always have. They just, yep, that's true. So when did you come to Ohio? Because I read you
Mhm.
originally grew up in New Jersey,
I
right?
did. I grew up in New Jersey, and how does a Jersey boy meet a Cincinnati girl? All places at West Point as classmates, right? So that's how Jess and I, my wife, met as cadets at West Point, and we served. We were in Fort Stewart, Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, for about 5 years, and then after our military active duty time, decided to go back home, and it was her home. We weren't going to New Jersey. We were going really where she had grown up, Springfield Township, Hamilton County is where she grew up. That's where we live right now. And it's
Okay.
become my home. So that would have been 2018, January 2018. Yeah. So
Okay.
going on about 7 years now. Yeah.
So now you're a Buckeye.
I am a Buckeye and
Buckeye.
proud of it. Yes.
Congrats.
Except when Army plays Ohio, but I don't think they do. But hey, they have played Miami,
Right.
uh, and we've beaten them. So so long as Army.
That's when you become, yeah, an Army
That's
fan.
right.
Um, so my next question is, what made you decide to run for office?
Yeah. I look at my 4 kids, and I have the I say luxury of trying to raise 4 kids under 10 in today's America, right? We have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, and our 9-year-old just turned 9 this past weekend. So I think about, thank you. I think about the future that they're quickly going to inherit unless those that are the generation before them steps up and helps to put us back on track as a country. If we don't change course as a country, I firmly believe that our kids and then my grandkids are going to inherit America that's got a failed economy, an America that's less safe, and really an America to where on the global stage may end up being perceived less and less as the strong America that it once was, right? So really on those 3 things, and then it's really it hits home for me. Also, in America where our education system is not as strong as it can be when it comes to simply educating our kids, not pushing an agenda, just educating our kids in math, science, reading, the basics and fundamentals to help them succeed. So this was as much a call to service for me uh, as it was 11 or so years ago when Jess and I both raised our right hand and swore to protect and defend the Constitution. We were answering a call to duty for our country. And, it was really in the last 2 years that I got this sense of duty that I needed to step up and do my part. And so that's why I'm running. I'm running for them, families like ours as well, and really the generations that's going to come after us is to help put this country back on track in all those ways that I just mentioned.
Okay. And so what are some of your personal experiences or skills you believe will help you in office if elected?
Yeah, in all those kind of 4 things that I just talked about, I feel I firmly believe that I'm uniquely, by the grace of God and all that He's been able to allow me to experience just in 33 short years of life, uniquely qualified to help solve these problems, right? Uh, I've always, no matter if it was in the army or in business or in criminal justice, um, I've always kind of viewed myself as a problem solver. I mean, I like solving problems, and so when it comes to the economy or safety or national security or education, I feel I have a background and a skill set that is qualified to contribute substantively as a member of Congress to help solve those complex problems, right? So economically, uh, after the military, became a CPA. There's only, by my last calculation, there's only 7 CPAs in all of Congress, in both chambers. So I'd be the 8th CPA in Congress. I have a tax background. I was a senior tax accountant at one of the big 4 accounting firms. I have a master's degree in taxation. I know that good tax policy leads to good social and economic policy for our country. And so when it comes to helping put our country back on track economically, with all the hyperinflation, the high food, gas, utility, rent, mortgage prices, it takes someone that has a financial background to understand, right, that you've got to be able to fix it through fiscal and monetary means, but also from, I believe, a conservative lens when it comes to fiscal responsibility is the common sense approach of not spending more than you make is what Jessica and I are teaching and instilling in our 4 young kids. And so that should be the expectation from especially our members in Congress. So my background in finance, when it comes to public safety, ever since I left the military, and that was not by my own volition. I always thought that I'd be a lifelong military officer. That's all I wanted to do as a little kid is serve my country in uniform for as long as I could. But God had different plans for me. I hurt my back in my early 20s and got back surgery at 23. And
Wow.
so through an injury and then a subsequent injury, I got medically discharged. I got medically discharged a year before my wife uh, finished her obligation for West Point. So, I like to say, she will forever outrank me because she got out as a captain. I got out as first lieutenant. I'll always salute Captain Jessica Sonza in every sense of the word. She's the boss of the household. But in my journey post military, it's always been trying to find my way back to where my heart really is, and that's public service. And so tried the CPA thing, learned a lot in business, had an opportunity to start my own solo firm before going into Big Four accounting, and then post that, start a financial planning firm, helping young families become more financially independent. But I wanted to go back to public service. So what does a guy who's a CPA, dad of 3 kids at the time, do? He goes back to school for a law degree. So I took the kids in tow, and Jess and I moved to Washington, D.C., where I finished up my law degree at Georgetown Law, and I wanted to be a prosecutor. I wanted to serve my community in law enforcement and criminal justice. And so after law school, we moved back to Cincinnati, and I became a Hamilton County assistant prosecutor and loved it. Holding criminals accountable, speaking up and advocating on behalf of our victims here in Southwest Ohio. I loved that job. And so when it comes to that second pillar that I talked about, second platform of public safety, uniquely qualified to view just the rise in crime that we see here in Southwest Ohio, just the fentanyl epidemic that we see here in Southwest Ohio, that has a criminal justice touch point to it. And so being able to use my experience as a prosecutor to know that we need sound criminal justice. We need a sound criminal justice system. Yes, there's room for common sense criminal justice reform in some areas. But again, too, in a broader scale, I can make a direct correlation for what's happening here in Southwest Ohio to what's happening in our southern border. An open southern border that needs to be secure so that we can make Southwest Ohio safer and the opioid epidemic reduced. That the third pillar of national security, naturally, as a former military officer, as a former infantry officer, that was trained in combat and strategy, never had the honor that my comrades had of actually serving overseas. It's an honor that you wish you never had. Well, I never had that ability, but I certainly was trained and learned a lot in my time, not just at the military academy, but as an actual Army officer leading troops. That you need to be able to. We need to be able to project our strength again as America. Strength not just to our fellow Americans here on the continental U.S., but to the global stage, and not just project that strength, but be able to back up that strength with a strong, lethal military that's able to defend and protect us. So utilizing my experience as a former military officer, and lastly, I'll always be a father, and so now I'm a father at this current stage of life of three kids that are school aged, one that will soon be entering preschool. So I have skin in this game to know what how they're being educated, that we want a robust and very effective education system. And we want our parents, like me and Jessica, to feel empowered in making the best educational decision for their kids. So being able to advocate on behalf of other parents and school-aged children across America as that father of four young kids. So it's long-winded, but I hope it's conveyed that in my 33 years of life already, being able to be a CPA, an attorney, a prosecutor, a veteran, and a father of four kids, I think is uniquely positions me to help the voters in Southwest Ohio get the representation I think that they're desperate for, in a problem solver, not a problem creator, in Congress.
Okay. The next is, well, you're in Hamilton County, but you're going to have all of Warren County that you represent.
That's right.
So when I was looking at the numbers, and Warren County, 70% of their voters are registered as no party. And then 24% are Republican. And then what I was able to get in Hamilton is Hamilton County, with presidential, they since 2004 have voted a Democrat, and 41% Republican. So, but the metro area is more conservative, and is that the area that because Hamilton County is kind of split, right, with District 1.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
So the question is, if elected, are you going to show more allegiance to your party's platform, or will you show more allegiance to your constituents, like when things happen to come up?
Yeah.
As Ohio is its own type of person compared to maybe somebody in California or New York
Right.
City.
Yeah. So to that question is that when elected, as the U.S. Congressman for the first district, is that my commitment is to my constituents. And just like you laid out, Beth, is that this first congressional district, it's a purple district, really. You've got people in Warren County that are conservatives, and then you've got a lot in Hamilton County that are progressives. And so I think what that lends to and calls for is just a representative that's going to listen to everybody. At the end of the day, that a representative of the people is not the representative of those that voted him or her into office. The representative is the one who represents all the constituents that falls within his or her jurisdiction. So that's my commitment. Now, it just so happens that I have values that I personally ascribe to that of course we all have values that we view life through a certain lens, a worldview, if you will. But I recently heard this adage is that if the Buckeyes and the Wolverines were playing each other on the field, and someone that's not on either team wants to contribute and wants to affect change, they can't show up to the game in a Penn State jersey. You got to pick one, and you pick the one that you can attribute yourself to or can agree with. They're not perfect. Neither team is perfect, but you got to pick one to be on the field to affect change, and so that's what it is, whether for better or for worse in America, that we have these two teams that are by far not perfect. And so in order to affect change as a representative of the people, you've got to pick. So which one do you align with better? Both sides have their flaws, absolutely. But from how I was raised in a Filipino American household, where both parents immigrated from the Philippines and came into this country and instilled in me and my other two siblings certain values. Well, those weren't Asian American values or Filipino American values. Those were conservative American values, the love of God, family, country, freedom to be able to chart your own course in life. It's not handed to you or by someone else's work. It's through your own hard work and work ethic and dedication. Economic empowerment, equal opportunity, not equal outcomes, to be fiscally conservative, a good manager of what has been entrusted to you, all those things, those are conservative values that I've adopted. And so, yes, I view life through conservative lens, but when it comes to legislating laws, you can't just look at it from the lens to which you view life. You also have to look at it as the representative of the people that you represent.
Okay, thank you. And then next question is how important is it to you to be bipartisan, to work with the other party?
Very important. Again, not just that this district specifically calls for that. I think that that's what the founding fathers intended when they started this great country. They envisioned a system of government where there would be working through tough, difficult problems with people and other representatives that may not see eye to eye with you on everything, or on anything, but yet you're called together as representatives of the people to work it out and to get to a solution for the betterment of this country and the betterment of Americans. And so, bipartisan has become, I think, a bad word for some. I think for some, bipartisan means you're compromising, and it's a negative connotation to the word compromise. Well, there's a difference between compromising on conviction and compromising on ways to solve a complex problem. I will never compromise my convictions. As a Christian, as someone that has a very strong moral compass, I'm never going to compromise my convictions. But when it comes to, again, solving the complex problems that we see today of the economy, safety, national security, education, all that, it's going to require bipartisanship. It's going to require working it through. And it's difficult, yes, but our country has survived 200 plus years because of that B word. And so we're going to survive another 200 because there's a working out on both sides, and that's what I'm committed to.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the people who are getting ready to vote? Something that you have on your heart you want to say, or a question I haven't asked that you want to just let the people know about you? The floor is yours.
Well, I just encourage everybody that if there's something that has resonated with you in what I said, then come to our website and just learn more. A informed voter is a smart and good voter. Just to be able to go to the ballot box in November and to be informed. And so please go to orlandosonza.com and just check out more of our platform, more of my story. And if it really piques your interest and want to jump in and join Team Sonza, we welcome everybody into this fight, the fight to really save America and to put it back on track, bring common sense back into mainstream, and that's through team. We can't do it by ourselves. We certainly can't do it with just two or three of us. It takes a village, yes, to raise a child. It certainly takes a village to impact change for our county, our counties, and Southwest Ohio. So join Team Sonza, orlandosonza.com. Follow us on social media platforms. And I look forward to seeing you all. Beth, I look forward to seeing you out on the campaign trail. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thank you for running. It takes a lot.
That means
Campaigning
a lot.
is hard. So
Thank,
thank you.
thank you for caring. Thank you, Beth.
All right. And then